Hey guys, what's up? George here, aka T-Rex, bringing you another Raid Shadow Legends video, and today I am doing a champion spotlight on the one and only Skartorsis. Now, I pulled Skartorsis quite a while ago now, 4 or 5 months. He was my first ever legendary I pulled, but I've been told by people in the channel that I'm in and in my clan that a lot of people pulled him recently in the 2x event, so I thought I'd do my build for Skartorsis and do a bit of a champion spotlight on him because he is absolutely awesome for mid to late game, even early game. Whenever you pull him, he's great to get you through content. He's been really helping me. I'm still mid game and he is helping me a lot. I have a bit of an interesting build on him. I use him as a massive support tank, and let's have a look at him now. So he's got pretty cool graphics. I think he looks like a cool character. I like the ones that float off the floor personally. And you can see here I have him in a Daze and a Divine Speed set. Now, I would prefer to have him in a stun set over Daze. If you haven't seen my video on that, then check out the little card in the video or in the description. There is a link to stun versus Daze. But the gear I had for him was Daze, so I put him in Daze, and it still helps. It still crowd controls. So you'll see I do have him in 2 sets, although for a while I didn't have a good pair of Divine Speed boots with defense. They're still not very good. Really bad. Flat stats. Don't do it. I'm waiting on a better set of boots to go in, but at the moment I don't want to change him too much just because where I use him, he's absolutely phenomenal. I have him in a resistance chest, which is weird, but I have him because I use him a lot in Spider as a negative affinity tank, and he manages to resist the poisons quite a lot. And then I have him in defense gloves, and you can see here, I mean, I've got pretty good stats on him. 45k health, 3.7k defense. He's slow at 136 speed, which obviously will speed up when I put him in good Divine Speed boots. 163 resistance and 100 accuracy. He has buffs, but he doesn't have debuffs, so other than the Daze. I have his skills all booked out. His Hand of Doom, his A1 is an AoE with a chance to steal a random buff from an enemy. This is really cool in the dungeons, in the affinity dungeons. If you look at the Magic Keep, for example, when they put their big shield up, he just can steal that whole shield quite often. Booked up, it's a 50% chance to steal, so it's a 50-50 whether you steal the buff, and he does it a lot in the Magic Keep for me. His A2 is a buff up. He gives a 50% increase attack and then a 30% increase crit rate on all allies for 2 turns, and that can come down to a 3-turn cooldown. I would say you can use your books on this guy. He really helped me out. And then his Rebirth removes all debuffs, so he's a cleanse from all allies, including himself. Then he heals all allies and fills their turn meters. Now, the amount of which is healed goes up for the more debuffs that you remove, and the turn meter increases according to the number of debuffs removed as well. So if you've got people with a lot of debuffs on and he does his Rebirth, their heal and their turn meter gets a massive boost, and that is part of the reason I've chosen the Masteries I've gone for, which I'll show you in just a second. And then he has a speed in dungeons by 33%, which is a fantastic aura for anybody to have. Speed auras are always really good to use, so I use him as my dungeon lead, even in dungeons where he's negative affinity, because obviously I've built him very tanky. So let's have a look at his Masteries, which I recently finished. You can see I went defense and support, and the reason I did that is because he's not putting out any damage whatsoever. He doesn't do any he helps me clear the waves because of his AoE, but he doesn't put out any damage. So I went down the defense tree. I gave him extra resistance, followed by decrease damage on him when he's hit with a critical. I then gave him increases the amount of healing and value of shield buffs he receives, because I normally run him with Apothecary, which means when he's healed by Apothecary in the Spider, because he's negative affinity, he gets an extra 5% healing. Shadow heal, so every time an enemy is healed, he will get 6% of his max HP back. Heals champion by 10% when they kill an enemy target, which sometimes happens on the Spiderlings, so that again keeps him alive for longer. I then have the Harvest Despair, which is a 60% chance of placing Leech when he places his sleep, and when I get him into stun gear, it will be the same when he does his stun. Now this is fantastic because Leech has just been improved to be 18% for everybody, so if he puts Leech out on everybody he's put to sleep, especially in the Spiderlings, people are healing back up when they do their AoE hits. Increase ally resist by 5 for each buff placed on them by this champion, because he places 2 buffs for 2 turns each time. They get extra resist, 10 resist every time. Yep. And then Cycle of Revenge, 50% chance of increasing his turn meter when an ally is attacked with a critical hit. That is just nice to have in there, which takes me then down to Fearsome Presence, which increases the chance of placing the sleep or the stun when I change his gear by 5%, which is nice to have. Through the support tree, I went Accuracy into Healing by 10% the first time an enemy is killed each round. Just keeps him alive even longer. 30% chance to increase his turn meter when a buff cast by him is removed or expires. So he puts those 2 buffs out quite regularly. He quite often gets turn meter back. Followed by 5% chance of decreasing cooldown of random skill. That's helpful if I need him to be putting out his rebirth and healing people. Into increased speed for each dead ally, which doesn't often happen, but it wasn't any point going into Sniper because he doesn't have any debuffs, and I wanted to go into Lasting Gifts, 30% chance to extend the duration of a buff cast by him. Obviously, he does the attack and the crit rate buffs, so he has a chance to extend those by a turn. So they're the Masteries I went into. What I will do just quickly is show you which spider I'm on at the moment. I have got down to, I've cleared 13, but I'm actually on stage 12 at the minute. And I've been sticking by stage 12 because obviously he's negative affinity. So if you see, I'll just change out and put my regular team in. He's my lead. I normally then have Tyrell, Apothecary, Royal Guard, and then I vary my other champion, but I think for this one I might go Ultimate Gaelic. So with this little setup that I'm going to try now, I don't normally use Ultimate Gaelic. I normally have Elaine in or just substitute her with someone else. But because he puts the increased attack on, Ultimate Gaelic has a chance to get his HP burn off. Apothecary will then heal Skartorsis up when he's targeted by the spiders because he's negative affinity. Tyrell brings the decreased defense and attack, and Royal Guard is a nuke. So let's just go in and have a quick look at Spider. Now, I use him in every dungeon pretty much. The only dungeon I don't use him in is Fire Knight. And the reason I don't is because he only hits once. I might use him when I get to a point using Skull Crusher or Fellhounds that I can. But at the moment, 4 and 5 star artifacts, accessories from the Spider is enough for me where I'm at. And I am building my way up and I'm making more champions into level 60. Apothecary was my most recent. But you can see in a second, once the Spiderlings take their turn, they will target Skartorsis, even though he has more health points than my Royal Guard, purely because he's negative affinity. And you can see there, he's resisting most of the poisons that they're putting out. And his health bar goes down. He probably gets to maybe a quarter health, but he never goes below a quarter health when fighting the spider because Apothecary heals him up and my Royal Guard then nukes down the main spider. I think it takes me just about a minute and a half to do this spider, which isn't quick, but at the stage of game I'm in, it's not so bad. Again, when I use Elaine, she clears out the spiderlings a lot quicker, so putting Ultimate Gaelic in for this video probably wasn't the best answer, but it's just to give you an idea. So that's how I've built Skartorsis. He is fantastic. There is lots of other ways to build him. There are lots of videos online about it. So if you want to check any of those out, feel free to go do so. This is just my build. It's a bit of a unique build. But again, I use him in a lot of places. I've had him in the arena, in my arena team since Silver 2 all the way up to Gold 4, which is, I sit around 3-4 now. I find if I keep myself in Gold 3, I have more luck with wins on the attack. If I go into 4, there's less people that I can beat. But I have him in the team, and essentially what I have is I have Apothecary speed everybody up, and Tyrell goes in with his decreased defense. Skartorsis then buffs everybody up with attack and crit rate, and I have my Skull Crusher in there for, so you go, 1 minute 59, so a little bit longer. I'll just show you my arena team quickly now. I took him out. I took him out recently. Let's refresh the list, see. Okay, let's just go in here. Normally, he's in there in place of Razin. So we're going to start up. I'll just quickly show you, because obviously I'm going to win this. I have Apothecary speed everybody up. Decreased defense goes out. Counter attack goes on, and then he buffs everyone. And after that, I hit the auto. Normally, that is the order it goes in auto anyway. Everyone then takes their turn. If she wasn't stunned, she'd hit, we'd counter, and then boom, I'm winning. So he's been in my arena team for a long time, and as I said, I use him in everything except for Fire Knight, and he can farm the campaign. I don't have him farm the campaign. He's the wrong affinity for 12-3. So I use him in dragons, I use him in spiders, and I use him in ice golem. And obviously he's full masteries, so I have him in my masteries team just to get my person to the end. I am not going to refill my energy today, so I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. If this has helped you out with Skartorsis, please feel free to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video, and don't forget, get online and get wrecking.